This is so good. This is a classic, man. And you can't get it up here. Not like this anyway. You want me to talk about andouille? Andouille, we live in Utah, and andouille is something that it's hard to find where I live. People, when they think of andouille sausage, they're usually thinking of the chunks of fat in it, and that is a part of it. But when I think of andouille, I'm actually looking for chunks of lean pork. What makes it andouille is a super coarse or even chopped cut, simple seasoning, salt, cayenne, and the flavor of the smoke. Andouille is something that's evolved in Cajun culture over the years. It's delicious, it's smoky, it's spicy, it's salty, it's porky. It's andouille. This is a bone-in Boston butt. This is gonna be a nice fat ratio. Anywhere from 80 to 20 to 70, 30 is gonna be fine. Ideally, I like to lean into more lean meat. And what's nice about the Boston butt, the fat takes care of itself. I'm not gonna be chopping up any fat or adding anything into this. You see, if you take a look, there's not a ton of marbling in here. So you're gonna have these nice chunks of lean meat. And then when you grind up that fat, it's gonna spread itself out throughout the sausage. You can go boneless and save yourself the work. Oftentimes boneless is more expensive, so it just kind of depends. Step one, I'll kind of cut this into steaks. Is starting to reveal itself. This one actually has some decent marbling on it, and where a nice sharp knife comes in handy. I've got the meat cubed, I've got it on a tray. This is gonna go into the freezer for about 30 minutes. The goal is just to get it cold enough that when it goes through the grinder, it's not gonna come out mushy. You're gonna get nice chunks of pork in there, you're gonna get nice chunks of fat. You want that fat to be nice and hard. And also, the whole time you're working, you wanna keep this under 32 degrees so that bacteria doesn't start to form, because we don't want anyone getting sick. This is the hardest part of the whole sausage making process. Math. So we've weighed out 3,102 grams of pork. So the first thing we need to figure out is salt, 2% salt to weight. What is it, Kyle, 3,102?
3,102.
And to get the percentage for salt, normally my son does this part. He's a math whiz. Is it times 0.0? Okay.
Yep.
So times 0.02, 62 grams. That sounds right to me. 62.1.
Yeah.
All right. This one's important. This pink salt, pure number one. The most distinctive flavor in there is gonna be the smoke. And normally you would smoke this for 1 to 2 days so it has enough time to take on the smoke. So you're gonna have raw pork in there. And if you have meat that is living between 40 and 140 degrees, we call that the danger zone. That's where bacteria is gonna start forming. And so to keep everyone safe, we've got to use pink salt on this batch, because this is gonna sit in a raw state for 12, 15 hours by the time we're done. For pink salt, I measure 0.25%. All right, Kyle, 0.25%. You know what sounds right is 7 grams.
Okay.
Okay, so the math on that comes out to 7.8 grams. I like to try and get this one right on. So just do a little scoopy there. 6.4, we're getting close. 7.3. 7.8, right on the nose. So weighing that out, it'll be 0.5%, which is easy. We've already done the math on the cure. So it's just twice the amount. 15.6 grams. Already forgot, 15.6 grams?
Yes.
Which is pretty spicy, but it's good. It's a good spice. That's our seasoning. All right, our pork's been in the freezer about 30 minutes, and you can kind of see there's a little layer of ice on there, but this is great. This is perfect. Mike, there's something important that I need to show you. So I had to order this special, but I'm glad I did because it saved me a lot of time. This is not a coarse grind on these. It really is a chop. 1/2 inch. If you can get 3/4 inch, do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to work kind of fast. This grinder, I've noticed it likes me to help the meat through. Because if it gets caught in there, like I say, it'll get kind of mushy, and we don't want it mushy. We want it to come out in chunks. You can already see as it's coming out, you're getting these little balls of meat and you're getting these little pebbles of fat. You keep that fat cap on there and they take care of themselves. This is perfect. I mean, if I could, I'd even go a little bigger, like 3/4, but But this is gonna be great. Just get nice, even coverage. With all this cayenne, you wanna wear gloves. Your hands get wet with all that pepper. Everything you touch is gonna be spicy for the next 48 hours. There is something unique to this sausage. Because it's so thick cut, it gets air. It's gonna get air in it. There's a couple things you can do to mitigate that. Just inherently, it's so chunky that it's gonna have gaps. So now our job is to get this as compact as possible without breaking casings and overstuffing the andouille. I should say, because we have that cure in there, a lot of times if you're making sausage, you want to test the seasoning. It's not uncommon to like get out a cast iron pan and fry it up, make a burger. Don't do that with this. That pink salt is super toxic. It needs time to do its thing. You just got to trust the process. So I've compressed a lot of this and tried to get a lot of air out of it. The next spot where air is going to creep in is when we load this. I want to just go one piece at a time and really layer it in there. And as I layer it, I'm going to just take a fist and really try and push it down as much as I can. Smoking food's all about planning. And this is one that I always forget. I get ready to stuff and I realize I haven't soaked my casings. These come soaked my casings. Soaking your casings. There are two things you can do. If you've planned ahead, wash them out in your sink and put them in fresh cold water in the fridge overnight. That's gonna make them nice and supple when you pull them out the next day. If you forgot, then wash them and put them in warm water. And after about an hour and a half, 2 hours, they'll be pretty supple. They'll be easy to work with. I'm gonna load my casing on. Man, this is so long. We could put a second casing on here. Let's do that. Stuffing sausage, it's fun for the whole family. Normally, my 12-year-old son runs the crank while I stuff the sausage. So today I need help. Kyle, I need a good stuffer. Okay, because this is such a coarse sausage, you'll see it. It takes a bit of power to get it out. All right, here we go. And I'm not gonna like try and hold this back too much. I'm gonna let it do its thing. All right, that's good.
Okay.
We'll tie this one off. I'm going about 12 inches with these. And I don't want to overstuff, so I have a little room at the end to kind of twist. And that'll build a little pressure. And then I just got to keep track of how I'm twisting. Outside on this one, inside on the next one. So what did I do? Away from me?
We want towards you.
Yeah, toward me. Oh, sorry, Mike.
Oh, those are cool action shots for you, Mike.
Those are beautiful. That's good size. They're not overstuffed. They're not understuffed. I got my sausage poker. There's some big holes in here. I'm not gonna poke the hole. My sausage poker is a bobby pin, by the way, because I don't want to be too aggressive. But there are some spots in here where I can kind of see, like right here. It's gonna be one. See how that shrinks back down. And I haven't found. I mean, I don't want to over prick it, but I haven't found that this really causes too much leakage or anything. It seems like when you're smoking it, they seal back up. All right, there they are. Now with the sausage stuffed, I'm gonna put this in the fridge overnight and let it cure for about 12 hours. And then at that point, it should be safe to smoke and safe to cook and eat. Next step is to get these casings as dry as I can. So I'll just pat them down. And I'm gonna throw them on a wire rack here. We've got our stuffed sausage. I'm gonna let these casings dry out. And then once they're dry, once they're tacky, we're gonna put them on the smoker. These sausages have had about 12 hours now to, well, about 15, 16 hours. That should be enough time for that cure to have done its job. The skin is dry, it's tacky, which means it's gonna take on a lot of smoke. And you can see the color has kind of changed. It's like a darker, almost kind of brownish. So these are gonna be safe. That curing salt's done its job. So we're gonna throw these on the smoker at 160, and they should take about 3.5 hours. It's technically a cold smoke. It's a warm, cold smoke. The thing about curing sausage is if this meat is gonna sit out between the temperatures of 40 degrees and 140 degrees for more than 2 hours, you've got to put the curing salt in it. So let's let these sit out for a long enough time, and it's gonna let them sit on the smoker for 3 to 4 hours. I had these in the fridge overnight. They've taken just over 12 hours to cure and change color. So hopefully these skins are dry enough that I can snip these. Oh yeah. Yep, they're holding up. They're holding up. And a little bit about smoking. So there's a couple of different ways that you could do this. Traditionally, andouille is going to be smoked super low temps, cold smoked around 90 degrees for over a day, so it takes on a lot of smoke because smoke is important to the flavor of andouille. I have been able to shorten the process a little bit and do it on the Woodwind Pro in about three and a half hours. It's not as smoky as if we'd done it for over a day, but it's still pretty good. And I found the fat holds up. Oh my gosh, they come out really nice. So today we're gonna do that shorter cold smoke. I also have pecan chunks with the smoke box on the Woodwind Pro. I stay on top of these pecan chunks every hour and reload them. And I do find that the sausage still takes on a really nice smoky flavor. When that pecan goes in the grill, you can smell it. Pecan's just it's got a certain smell. It's got a certain vibe.
Certain nuttiness.
Yes, and I don't think it's andouille unless you smoked it with pecans. So it's, all right, let's throw them on the grill. So it worked out that I have this little link, so that'll be my little sacrificial guy. We'll probe that, and this will cook a little faster than the other sausages, but it'll still give us an idea of what's going on in here and where everything's at. So just pop that right in the middle of the grill. We're gonna let these smoke for about three and a half hours until they get to 152 internal. That'll take it just outside of the danger zone, and then we're gonna throw them in some ice and pack them away. All right, I'm gonna take a look at these. They've been on the grill for about an hour and a half. Look at that. Give these a little flip, and I'm gonna try not to burn myself, but oh yeah, they're really stiffening it up. So as they cook, the speed kind of slows down. They should be done in probably another hour, maybe faster. We'll see. Our little guy's temping, so we're gonna check them on the bigger ones just to make sure they're done. We're cruising. 152, 153, 154. Okay, we gotta get them off of there. All right, you can see the fat's still intact. So that's good, we did it. So I'm dipping this in the ice bath. You can see these are smoked, but see that fat hasn't disappeared on us, even though it's yellow. So we don't want them, basically, I want to cook them as much as I can for them to be food safe, which is, I just want to get them out of the 140s and into the 150s. But I don't want to go all the way to 165, which is what we'd normally eat them at, because I just want to keep that fat intact. They're going to spend some time on ice, and that's going to stop the cooking process. That's going to freeze up that fat. And then when you slice into them, it's going to look like that smoked sausage you get from the store before you've cooked it. You know, you'll see that nice pink meat on the inside. I just pulled these out of the ice bath. Look at this. I mean, that deep red color, all that beautiful fat. We did cook this fast, so it is rendered, but it's still intact. It hasn't melted out. So this will keep in the freezer. I want to throw one on the grill and smoke it, get it up to 165 so we can actually taste it. But I want to cut into one of these cold so you can see the cross section. What's crazy is that we cold smoked this at 150 for 3.5 hours. That fat, it's all intact. It didn't melt, we didn't lose it. To me, this is what an andouille should look like. We pulled one of our sausages off the ice and threw it on the grill because we got to taste it. So I got this up to an internal of 165. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna take a bite, is that okay? This is so good. It's crazy how much smoke it has on it in that short amount of time. It's so smoky. It tastes like, it's like a spicy ham. There's nothing herbaceous. There's no other spices in there. You taste salt, you taste ham, and you taste cayenne. It's a good cayenne too. Oh, you gotta take a bite of this, Mike. And the snap on that. So we did it. We made andouille. I'm gonna package up the rest of this. If you want to watch more videos like this, click this link. Hang out for a while, we won't be mad. And thanks for watching. Go home and make yourself something. And if you're already home, then get up and make yourself something. Or put this on while you're making something.